This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Well, good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Friday, October 14th, 2022. We're so glad you can join us today. In today's episode of Ag Matters PM, I have more coverage from the Merck Animal Health Beef Media event down in Amarillo, Texas. Just a little bit on the industry leader panel that they had and some of the questions they answered. We'll also take a look at that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Well, we're at the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, and for a bit of analysis, we go to Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Tyler, what do we see going on in the grain markets today?
You know, it kind of started out all right this morning. We got another good flash export fill from the USDA this morning. We sold a couple 100,000 metric tons to unknown again, a couple 100,000 metric tons to China, and then had a pretty decent sale of soybean meal to the Philippines as well. Export the weekly export sales report came out today, however, and that was pretty poor, especially on corn and wheat, down in that 200,000 metric ton again. Soybeans weren't so bad. If you've been paying attention, we've had several flash export sales the last few mornings. Those won't show up until next week's sales report. So, you know, that's kind of one of the reasons that export sales for this week weren't very strong. I think next week we'll see at least the soybeans pick up a little bit. The news of that flash sale kind of helped to lift soybeans for a little bit. And then we basically saw the opposite of yesterday's market. You know, yesterday we saw early in the morning after that CPI was released, we saw the financial markets, the equity markets really shoot lower and then come rebounding back and actually closed up 800 and some points on the day. Huge reversals in all of those equity markets. And when that happened, that helped to raise the grain markets. And today you've basically seen the reversal of that, those equity markets giving a lot of those gains back and really just kind of dragging corn down with it. So corn and beans and wheat for that fact.
Now, this is the time of year where we like to see those export sales maybe pick up a little bit, especially those flash sales. Do we think that maybe this will be the start of a continued trend of that, or was this possibly just a one-off event?
No, we're hopeful that the Chinese are going to come and they're going to start buying some soybeans. You know, the biggest problem we've got, and this has been discussed multiple times on your program, the barge issues on the Mississippi River. So getting those beans to port. There's going to be some difficulty there. But you're right. This is the time we typically see export sales on beans or those flash sales. Our hunch earlier this week between Ag Market and John Stewart and Associates saw kind of a blip early in the week, a lot of buying in soybeans. And we were kind of saying that it felt like the Chinese were in buying. And, you know, it took a couple of days for those reports or those flash sales to hit. Which is not all that uncommon in that export business, how those sales are recorded. And so we're hopeful that those remain and those pick up. We need them to be. We're well behind export pace on all three grains. Soybeans are down a bunch. Corn's down considerable. Wheat is lagging last year, and last year was a terrible year for wheat exports. So we need to see some export activity to kind of sustain some of these prices to show that the demand's still there.
All right, and what about the other side of the ag marketplace and the livestock complex? Have they been mostly just kind of reacting to the grain prices, or are they dealing with some of their own factors as well?
Our opinion is mostly reacting to the outside markets. There really hasn't been just a ton of news. The feeder calf market has been struggling as of late, and a lot of that has to do, the feeder calf futures have to settle against that cash index. And the feeder calf index has really been getting pounded by cash sales in the Southern Plains. It's just been tough for them to sell a calf that brings a lot of cash right now, because they're hurting to find feed. The feed costs are incredibly high, and there's a lot of them going to town. In the north, where I'm at, up in North Dakota, sales have been really strong in the cash market. So, we're waiting until we kind of get into that calf run up here, where we start getting more sales reported. Maybe it helped to lift that cash index a little bit. On the fat side, we're just kind of hovering. Same story in the south. The fat market, cash prices are weaker. You get into the north and kind of the mid east, I'd say, in that Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, some of those regional kill plants, they're paying up for fat cattle. And so there's kind of a discrepancy there geographically across the U.S. It's really, kind of making it difficult to figure out exactly where this thing is headed. Long run, we know that there's a shortage of cattle out there and likely to see higher prices. But, again, that's largely going to come down to what the consumer can afford to pay for beef.
All right, Tyler, lots of great information today. For those of our listeners and our viewers who would like to get in touch and learn more from the folks at agmarket.net, how can they do that?
Go to our website, agmarket.net. There's a contact page. You can also sign up for our Ag Intel. We publish a ton of research daily and weekly and monthly. Sign up for a 30-day trial there. And if they want to call me directly, the number is 701-987-6009.
All right, Tyler, well, thanks for joining us again today, and we look forward to talking with you again soon.
Good to be here. Take care, guys.
That again was Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at how those numbers closed, courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. At the close, December corn is down 8 even at 6.89 3/4. November soybeans down 12 even at 13.83 3/4. December soybean meal up a dime at 4.11.10, and soybean oil down 1.13 at 65.30. Chicago wheat down 32.5 at 8.59 3/4. Minneapolis spring wheat down 24 3/4 at 9.54 1/4. Kansas City hard red wheat down 30 even at 9.52 1/4. And December oats down 9 3/4 at 3.97 3/4. On the Merck, October live cattle up 50 cents at 146.95. October feeders down 95 at 173.80. October lean hogs down a nickel at 93.37. Pork cutouts up 145 at 92.55, and Class 3 milk down 12 cents at 21.77. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I have more coverage from the Merck Animal Health Beef Media event that I went to down in Amarillo, Texas. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Last month, I was down in Amarillo, Texas to cover the Merck Animal Health Beef Media event. They had a panel during the session with some industry leaders that they brought in to talk about some of the issues the cattle industry is facing and how they plan to move forward in the future.
I'll let you guys introduce yourselves and and a little bit about your operation, and then I'd like for you to define what sustainability means to you. Debbie, let's start.
Okay, so I'm Debbie Lyons-Blythe, and like she said, Blythe Family Farms. I've got 5 kids on our ranch back in the Flint Hills of Kansas, and we are working towards transitioning them into some ownership in our ranch. We are a registered Angus operation as well as a commercial cow-calf operation, and we do a heifer development program as well. So mostly breeding stock, sell registered bulls and commercial heifers. And I have been involved in the U.S. Roundtable for Sustainable Beef, and so I've thought an awful lot about what my definition is for sustainability. And I think it's pretty simple. Take care of the land, take care of the animals, take care of the people, and make money. And if you have those 4 things, pretty much, you can be sustainable.
Thank you, Debbie. Jake, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you define sustainability?
Jake Cowan, take care of our family's stock herd backgrounder operation. We have background in the yard, run wheat pasture cattle and grass cattle and a few small cow-calf operation, and we market a lot of feeder cattle and retain ownership on some of those feeder cattle that we purchase. Our specialty is sale barn cattle. We straight down a lot of high-risk cattle. For us, sustainability is taking care of the land. We reinvest in the land. The land takes care of us, so we put back into it every opportunity we can get. And it is the one thing that we can't make any more of. And we constantly strive to make improvements with animal health. And in turn, make the most money possible.
Thank you. And Ben?
Good afternoon. I'm Ben Whiteheimer with Texas Cattle Feeders Association, headquartered here in Amarillo. But as Jessica mentioned, our organization represents cattle feeders in Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. Today, our members produce about 6 million head of fed cattle a year, roughly producing 28% of the nation's fed beef. And I've been on staff with the association for a number of years. Born and raised here on a farm and ranch just east of Amarillo, and so came from that background, and then we've really done association work for several years now. And from our perspective, I mean, I think many of y'all are familiar and have even interviewed yourself a number of our members. You know that we have a diverse membership, different sizes and types of operations, but really when we talk to them about the sustainability topic, it's really easy to get complacent with trying to think that you're the best or you want to be the best, but it's really about how you get there. And it's about what we do to help our members, and our members help themselves to do a better job in all the areas that they work in day in and day out.
Thank you. All right, Jake, we'll start with you this time. Describe the sustainability of cattle production on your operation.
Sustainability of cattle production on our operation is being the most efficient we can from an animal health standpoint and an animal welfare standpoint. We do the best we can to source and grow the best feed ingredients we can. We're not afraid to step outside the box and feed something that is maybe not the norm. And from an animal health standpoint, we constantly strive to do a better job, minimize death loss. We're big on clean water, good feed, and healthy cattle. We take no days off, and we do what we can to keep everything healthy.
So why don't you tell everybody, so we were talking at lunch, and you source a different ingredient. You just got a truckload in of bakery waste.
So we're just beginning to feed bakery waste. As we all know, corn's a little high right now, and the basis is greater than it's ever been, I believe. And so we're looking for other alternatives, and bakery waste was an opportunity that was shown to us this past week, so we're going to include it in our ration for a few weeks and see what we think.
So yeah, so not only is he helping grow his cattle more efficiently, but he's also helping the baking industry by taking care of the waste. So Ben, what do you see when you're working with feed yards?
Yeah, so and great point there in terms of Jake bringing up the feedstuffs, and I think you're going to focus on some of obviously the animal health related issues tomorrow, but it's a great opportunity to also ask some questions about how feedlot rations have evolved over the years, and how have we made adjustments based off of availability and costing different ingredients into our ration. So you see some of those same ideas applied in feed yard rations when it comes to distillers grains and corn gluten feed, cotton gin byproducts, those types of ingredients. But really when you kind of look more broadly at the question that Jessica's posed here, I guess we all might think that we're pretty smart at the time, but from just a little bit of rewinding back to say the 1980s, when we as an association and our members kind of step forward, lean forward, and help the industry both address a challenge and an opportunity by helping develop the industry's first beef quality assurance program, so that we could do a better job demonstrating how we care for the animals from a nutrition, health, handling point of view. Of course, that's elevated to even a much higher platform than what it was when it was first created in the 1980s. Go to the next decade, in the 1990s, we spent a tremendous amount of time really trying to get on top of all the environmental issues. Now, that's not to say that things were out of control, because even in this state, in Texas, these feed yards were permitted by a Texas Water Quality Board agency before EPA even existed in the late 1960s. But in the 1990s, I think a lot of y'all remember all the focus on water quality and air quality issues. So we really stepped up again, and our members, tackled all things environmental quality. We initiated an environmental services program, kind of help get ahead of it instead of feeling like we were being behind the curve. And then I think the third thing that we did, and this is all what I'd say unknowingly doing these in the name of sustainability at the time, but doing what was right from the challenges that we were facing at the time, and again the opportunities. But in the early 2000s, we really amped up our employee safety efforts and put an employee safety training trailer. That's a tongue twister, but we have a couple of guys that run the road full time doing employee training, safety training at the feed yards in the 3-state area. So you put those different pieces together today, and it's kind of become what we've developed and talked about through the U.S. Roundtable's efforts on addressing animal care, environmental management, and ensuring that our employees have a safe place to work and go home to their families every night.
Thank you. And Debbie, last but not least.
Yes, wow, add into both of these two smart guys what they have to say. So at Blythe Family Farms, I think we're cognizant of the fact that farmers and ranchers have always been focused on conservation, right? They've always been adding back to the land and doing a better job with the land and with water. So that's, of course, a big focus on our place. Animal health, I feel like, is a major responsibility for us. That cow, like you were talking, if she's not productive, then she's just consuming resources and emitting methane. So she's got to go, right? We've got to keep track of that and make sure that if she births a calf, which they better, 100% calf crop, I'd like to wean 100% calf crop too, right? So I think that for us is important. But in our operation, I mentioned that we're transitioning to our kids. We have 5 grown kids, and we have learned that as we're trying to transition to my son in management, he's 28. I don't know how many of you have been around a 28-year-old son, right? He doesn't always listen when mom says, hey, it's time to rotate those calves, or Trent, we need to be preconditioning today, or let's get on the calendar a date for the vet to come out and preg check. But if I've got that in a record that he can look at, we absolutely are able to transition knowledge. So for us, we have used not only a management calendar, but also a grazing management plan to help transition the knowledge about how to manage the tall grass prairie. And we have found that a tremendous amount of success with that. That is not what we had originally thought our grazing management plan and our transition plan was, to help do a better job managing, but it's been an excellent opportunity to transition knowledge. Because the goal is always to be able to pass it on to the next generation, right? We want our kids, if they're interested, to be able to keep Blythe Family Farms together and continue to farm and ranch and keep that grass out there. So that's a vital part of what we're doing for sustainability.
And that again was just a little bit from the Merck Animal Health Beef Media event, that industry leader panel that they held. As for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at that ag weather outlook. As you can see from the National Weather Service, we've got some nice cool fall weather in store. Today we have variably cloudy skies and breezy conditions with scattered showers throughout the state in the evening. those highs ranging from the low 50s to low 60s. Tonight, expect windy conditions with scattered showers to mostly clear skies around the state. Tonight, those lows ranging from the mid-20s to low 30s. And tomorrow will be mostly sunny and not quite as cool, with highs ranging from the mid-50s to upper 60s. And taking a look at the affiliate weather map, as you can see for tomorrow, Cherokee will be mostly sunny with a high of 63, Shenandoah mostly sunny and 68, Des Moines mostly sunny and 62, Waterloo sunny and 59, Albia sunny and 60, and Clinton will see sunny skies with a high of around 55. For more detailed forecasts in your part of the state, make sure to check in with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook, and that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And you can find all of our video content as well as previous episodes of AM/PM on our YouTube channel. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when our videos go live. And don't forget as well our free Twice Daily Market podcasts on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.